You know, this thing in Virginia, which just continues to get funnier and funnier, although, I wrote a piece, you can read it on the Daily Wire website, a column about the idea that maybe we should look at Virginia as a teachable moment. Maybe this is a moment to teach Democrats about all the stuff that they're doing wrong. The world that they created, this world that's falling apart in Virginia, is a world that Democrats created. A world where there's no forgiveness for past sins, a world where the country can't be forgiven for its past sins, a world where individuals can't be forgiven for their past sins, a world of this intersectional racism. I want to talk more about that because that is certainly a gullible thing. Intersectionality is not just racism, it's primitivism. It's going back to tribalism. It's saying the tribes are going to be, the tribal system is better than the melting pot. So here's what's happening. Ralph Northam, you remember the guy, he's the guy who had the, on his medical school yearbook, had the picture that may have been of him. At first he said it was of him, and then he said it wasn't of him. A guy in a Ku Klux Klan hood with another white guy in blackface, obviously an insensitive picture, not a good picture. But again, this is 36 years ago. He was in his 20s. So he is just holding fast. Every Democrat and his sister is calling on him to resign. But Northam says he's not going. Here's him saying this yet again.
We have worked very hard. We've had a good first year, and I'm a leader. I've been in some very difficult situations, life and death situations, taking care of sick children. And right now,
you're a doctor, yes.
Right now, Virginia needs someone that can heal. There's no better person to do that than a doctor. Virginia also needs someone who is strong, who has empathy, who has courage, and who has a moral compass. And that's why I'm not going anywhere. I have learned from this. I have a lot more to learn, but we're in a unique opportunity now. Again, the 400-year anniversary of the history, whether it be good or bad, in Virginia, to really make some impactful changes.
Of slavery in this country,
yes.
In this state, yeah. Did you ever think about resigning when the drumbeat became so loud? And by the way, they're still beating for you to step down.
I don't live in a vacuum. And
Yes.
so, yes, I have heard it, and this has been a difficult week.
So he's not going anywhere. He is dug in. And, the left, the Democrats, have this incredible problem of their own making. It is a problem of philosophy. Their philosophy has blown up in their faces. Just in terms of, not just in terms of political efficacy of what they want to have happen, but also of just nonsense, of them finding themselves in a nonsensical position. Because the lieutenant governor, who actually has a black face, who's not wearing blackface, he's an actual black guy, he has this problem that he's now being accused of rape. A second woman has come forward with a detailed story about his raping her. He denies it utterly. He's called for an FBI investigation. And obviously, I'm in favor of due process. The funny thing is the worse the crime is, the more due process is important, because you don't convict somebody of rape without proof, without evidence. We said this about Brett Kavanaugh. I'll say about Justin Fairfax. But here's the problem, right? The Democrats, after going after Brett Kavanaugh, and they've kept that myth alive. They're going to keep it alive forever. Oh my gosh, there's this, rapist. They did it with Clarence Thomas. They still accuse him. Clarence Thomas was never even what Clarence Thomas was accused of with Anita Hill would have just been pesky. It wouldn't have been that terrible. But he says he didn't do that either. But they continue to talk about him as if he were a sexual abuser. I mean, you really have this picture of the Supreme Court in the Democrats' minds of like Republican men chasing the women around the Supreme Court desk. Like in just kind of this sex mad chaos, I can really see, Ruth Bader Ginsburg and the rest of them like running away with Clarence Thomas and Brett Kavanaugh chasing after them and say, help, that's obviously not what's happening. But they went after Brett Kavanaugh with such ferocity, with such nastiness, with such dishonesty that now they've got a problem, right? If they treat Justin Fairfax the way they treated Brett Kavanaugh, and they won't, because if they didn't have double standards, they'd have no standards at all, you would have a situation where Ralph Northam appeared possibly in blackface, certainly fronted this picture of the Ku Klux Klan and this black guy on his page on the med school yearbook. You'd have the guy who's under Justin Fairfax, the Secretary of State, who also admitted to appearing at a party in blackface, although in a more innocent way. He was pretending to be a rap singer. In between them, you've got an actual black guy who's accused of a crime. if that crime is proved or becomes incredibly convincing, right? If the women come forward and their stories are so good and they have evidence and they, corroboration and they are incredibly convincing, you could have a situation where two white guys in Virginia are accused of wearing blackface and survive, and the only guy who gets thrown out is the black guy, okay? So you have this kind of nonsense situation that is created. It's only nonsense, of course, because of the left's philosophy. Plus, of course, we talked about this last week, if all three guys go, the next guy down is a Republican, so they would lose the state, and you can bet cash money that is not going to happen. So here's my problem with this. They created this situation with this intersectional nonsense. And intersectionality is simply racism with a smiley face. That's all it is. It's the idea that we can be divided according to how we've suffered. We can be divided according to how we were oppressed and then kind of ranked. And the people who were more oppressed now get better treatment. The people who were less oppressed. But of course, it's nonsense, because the whole thing about racism is the racist isn't wrong about the other guy when he says the other guy sucks. Everybody sucks. He's wrong about himself. He's wrong about his group, whatever it is. If it's a white guy hating on black guys, hey, hate on black guys all you want, but you got to know white people are just as bad. Whatever you can say about black people, you can say about white people. People are bad. People are sinful. They're broken. That's the problem, see? So the problem is not like, oh, well, the white people mistreated the black people. Now the black people should mistreat the white people, and then everything will be fine. All the racism goes on one side of the scale. The only thing that goes on the other side of that scale is justice, and justice has to begin today. And that means the past can't be fixed. That means unfairness is going to happen because the past can't be fixed. And yet, interestingly enough, that has never stopped other people who suffered from bigotry from moving forward. The Italians suffered bigotry, they moved forward. The Jews moved forward. The Irish moved forward. The blacks are stuck because the left will not let them move forward. By the way, I understand I am fighting the tide like King Canute here. I am a radical about this. I believe racism has to be ditched entirely. It has to be ditched entirely. And I understand that's a radical position. And sometimes when I'm talking to young people, I see that they don't even understand what I'm talking about. How can we ditch racism entirely when that means that the past can't be fixed? The point is, even if you cling to racism, the past still can't be fixed. The past can never be fixed. That's what makes it the past. As William Faulkner said, the past is not past. That's the truth. The past is with us. It causes injustice in the present, and there's not one thing you can do about it except from today, leave the racism behind. And that means no intersectionality. It means no affirmative action. It means no reparations, but it also means no bigotry. It also means hiring a guy without thinking about what color he is. It means bringing people forward, making sure there's education in all communities. And the best way to do that, of course, is to privatize education, but that's not going to happen. But still, that would be the best way to do it. I understand this is a radical position now. It's a radical position because it is the American position, the true American position. The founding American position is always the most radical position for the simple reason there's only been one new idea in politics, and that is the American idea. And the other side of this, of course, is all these people have tried to turn this around and dump it on Trump. This has been an amazing weekend that way. Trump delivered a State of the Union, and it was spectacular, and people loved it. And it really, I think it's given him already a bump in his popularity rating. And I think if he can keep to that tone, which is a big if, but if he can keep to that tone, his popularity will continue to grow, and he'll actually have a chance for re-election. So at one point, Nancy Pelosi clapped at his face, because he celebrated women. She gave this kind of sardonic clap in his face. That has become a meme on the left because they want to convince that, she won the State of the Union. Crap. It's just crap. It is just them telling themselves fairy tales. And another one of their fairy tales. The other one is Pocahontas. I should mention this. Elizabeth Warren is caught out having in the 80s listed herself as an American Indian on a bar association application. Just incredibly humiliating. It proves that she was lying when she said she never tried to benefit from identifying herself as an American Indian. She did. Trump makes his Pocahontas joke, and immediately, Trump's racist. Pocahontas was racist. What? I don't see anything racist about it. She is the one who did this. It's on her. That's the news. That's the headline. That's the story. They keep trying to change it. With this Virginia story, they have made efforts to say, well, it is Trump in the 80s, I guess, who is Trump who has made this society so racist. It's Trump who has made this society so racist, and that's why Ralph Northam back in the 80s had a picture of a Ku Klux Klanman on his med school yearbook. That's why, because Trump would later come along and make America racist, and that would kind of ripple back through time, and then Ralph Northam would do what he did. So it's really not the Democrats' fault. It's really not Northam's fault. It's all Donald Trump's fault. So it was a little bit gratifying when one leftist actually challenged another leftist, Nina Turner, who is a Democrat, challenged Congresswoman Nanette Barragan on this tactic on CNN, which at least had the benefit of being surprising and shocking. Here's the clip.
We can't forget about the person who is dividing us and who himself is injecting this into the country to live up again and coming out again. And we haven't seen it be this bad in recent time till the president has really made this a race issue, whether it's about African Americans. Certainly, he's doing it all over the board with immigrants, but we need to have this conversation.
I cannot. Well, I just can't. 1984, 1980, right. Gucci just a few days ago. This is not about President Donald Trump. This is about racism in the United States of America. Congresswoman, I hear you, but on this, we're not blaming President Trump.
I'm saying that he has divided this country.
No, let me just say this.
He is using race as an
I am
issue.
not going to continue to let politicians use this man as the excuse to deal with racism in this country.
See, now, I always hate when people say racism in the United States of America, racism in this country, as if other countries were just wonderful paradises of non-racist thought. I mean, race has been the way people have thought about each other since the beginning of time. Race has divided us and tribalism has divided us. That's why I'm a radical about it. I say get rid of it. I say just don't do it anymore. Don't group people by their races anymore. You want to get together and have an Irish party? Good for you. You want to get together and have a black party or Jewish party, whatever. Have a good time. But in terms of policy, in terms of actually approaching people, I have this radical idea. I call it Christianity. It's man was made in God's image. God said, love God and love man. That's it. That's my rule. That's a radical rule. But still, so I don't agree with this lady, but at least she wasn't gullible. At least she didn't go down that road that in 1985, something that Donald Trump would do or say in 2019 made Ralph Northam, a little bit of cynicism.